You ever comment on a video and wonder if that comment is actually going to get read? Well, for myself and Hog Salad Bait Molds, we read your comments and we listened. For those of you that have been around the channel for a while, you know that I love the 4.25-inch Old Buzzard from Hog Salad. I have caught fish doing everything with this bait, throwing it weightless, swimming it across the top as a topwater, just swimming it through the water, Texas rig, dragging on the bottom, jig trailer, you name it, I've probably caught fish using this bait. Now, about 5 months ago, I made a video showing you guys the tail mold for the 4.25-inch one, and one of you commented and said that you would like to see this bait in a smaller size and asked me to pass the word. Well, I did just that. I sent a message to Billy over at Hog Salad Bait Molds and told him that some people were showing interest in a smaller size. His response, I better get to work. Get to work he did. We now have a 3.25-inch Old Buzzard mold. Now, I also made a post on Instagram asking you guys what colors you would like to see for the reveal video. One of you commented and said that you wanted a red shad color. Well, I've never made red shad in a creature bait, so I did some scrolling and I stumbled across a color by Sixth Sense called Wild Lava Craw. It looks pretty sweet. So today, we're going to kind of make our own version of that Wild Lava Craw, which is kind of a red shad looking color, along with one of my personal favorite confidence colors using some of Barlow's motor oil flake. So let's get over here and check out the first color. So we are ready to make that confidence color of mine I talked about. We're just going to go with Green Pumpkin 109. And I'm not going to count drops. I'm just going to pour some in. I do want it to be a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be super thin. But we'll get all this stirred in. I think I want to go just a little bit thicker. That should be good. If any of you guys that like to count drops want to know, this is probably somewhere between 40 and 50 drops per cup. That's kind of where I like to run my green pumpkin. So there we go with that. And then we are going to use this motor oil flake from Barlows. Now, one thing I do want to touch on, this is temperature sensitive. It's not as sensitive as like your sparkle flakes, but you definitely don't want to add it to plastic. I would say over 335 degrees. So we're going to make sure we don't add it too soon. Let's check our temperature real quick. So we're right there at that 335 mark. I think we'll be good to go ahead and add it. We're going to go with our 1/4 teaspoon, and we're going to go with a full kind of heaping scoop of that. Might even add a little bit more, not sure. We'll see what it looks like when we get this all stirred in. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with another full 1/4 teaspoon. So we're going to be at about 1/2 teaspoon per cup on that flake. We're going to get this all stirred in real good. Let's grab our mold and get to making them. And for those of you that noticed, I did inject both the original 4.25-inch as well as the new 3.25 because I feel like when we show you guys new molds sometimes, you don't really get to see how much of a difference there is compared to the original because all we make is the new one. So let's start out here with that original 4.25-inch size. And as I expected, this color looks incredible. We'll get a closer look at everything here in just a second. Now let's check out this new 3.25-inch size. For anyone wondering, a 6-ounce injector will fill both of these molds in one shot. I noticed this smaller size used considerably less plastic than the larger size. And man, those baits look awesome. All right, I'll get one of each pulled off and we'll take a close-up look at an actual size comparison. That bait is going to get crushed. This is just such an incredible profile for catching fish, and now in this downsized profile, if you're around finicky fish or pressured fish, or what I'm really looking forward to is targeting smallmouth with this bait, I think this is going to be fantastic. And look at that flake in the body. That's just the motor oil flake, and look at all those colors coming through. Like I said, this is green pumpkin in general is one of my top confidence baits, and this flake in there just really does well. Now, like I said, I made the original 4.25 inch size, so for any of you that have this bait, here is what the 3.25 inch looks like next to it. Because a lot of times when we make videos and show you guys new molds, we don't show you the original size, so it's kind of hard to tell how much of a difference there is. But you can see here, that is the 4.25 inch on the right and the 3.25 on the left. That small size is going to be fantastic. You can see here, it is quite a bit thinner, and where I think that is going to be a big help is this is small enough you could even throw this on one of the weedless EWG style Ned heads. I'll show you a couple different rigging options at the very end, but here's a look at that first color. Now let's get on to this red shad color. So for the back color, we are just going to go with black. Now we're going to make these colors a little bit thick, just because to get the red and the black to play off of each other and be very visible, you need these colors to be pretty thick. So we're going to get this stirred in. So it looks dark in the cup, but right here on the stir stick, it is still a little thinner. So we're going to add some more of that to thicken it up. Yeah, a traditional red shad is just a black laminated with a red pearl. So that's starting to look a little bit better. I think I need it just a little bit thicker. I'm just worried that the pearl powder on the red side will start to overpower that. So we're going to add just a little bit more. That's looking pretty good right there. And then for the top side, we are going to add some small red flake. I've been really liking this apple red from Barlows. It's a very bright, vibrant red. We're going to go with our 1/8 teaspoon. It's going to be a pretty heaping scoop of that. Get that stirred in. And that is all we're going to do for the top side. There's quite a bit of that red flake in there because with how thick we're making this color, you're not going to be able to see some of it. But I think that right there is looking pretty good. So that's all we're going to do for the top color. And now for the bottom. So I'm going to start out with red. This is Dead on Plastics red because it doesn't bleed. I'm going to add just a little bit of that. I just really like the shade of red from that specific color. We're going to get that stirred in real good. And then to make that thick enough to where it'll actually show up, we're going to go with an 1/8 teaspoon of just some red pearl powder. I'm going to look after I get this mixed in at how dark this red pearl powder makes it, but I might even add a drop or two of black just to darken this red just a hair. But that red pearl powder is a little darker than the red from Dead On. So as you can see here, it's darkening it up a little, and then obviously giving us that pearl effect that we're looking for. Alright, that looks pretty good. I think I do want to add just 1 drop of black, just to kind of help that pearl effect come out. Alright, I think we're good right there. And now for flake on this side, what we're going to do, I'm going to take my 1/16 teaspoon, and I'm going to go with the large 0.062 black. I don't want a lot of this. I just want it to kind of show up in the bait here and there. And then for a little bit of flash, we're going to add the 0.035 copper flake. I'm going to use my 16th and just go with 2 teaspoons just because my 8th still has some of that pearl powder on it. All right, we're going to get that stirred in all the way. That 6th Sense color that I was telling you about, they use something, I don't know if it's red or orange, something a little bit brighter on the red side of their bait, so that's why I want to use a little bit of this copper, kind of give it just that little bit of flash. But there we go. We got our red and our black both ready to go. We're going to make sure these colors or these temperatures are even. Now, laminating a pearl powder with just a straight liquid, we might get a little bit of bleed over, but we'll get these temperatures as low and as close together as we can to try to get some pretty clean laminates. Time to see how these turned out. Those turned out way better than what I was expecting. I thought, you can see here in the runner, you get some of that pearl bleed over. I thought that was going to happen in the baits, but these laminated great. Let me get one of these pulled off of here and we'll take a look. I am really impressed with how well that bait laminated, being a powder and then just a liquid pigment. I mean, you can see all the way through the tails of the bait. That laminated extremely well. Now, like I said earlier, I've never actually made kind of this red shad color in a creature bait before, but after making this one, I think this is definitely going to be one that I keep on hand. This looks incredible. You can see that red flake in the black. That's why I was saying I like that apple flake from Barlows. It's just a really bright, vibrant red. It works extremely well in a black pigment. A lot of reds and black kind of start to lose that like shiny, bright look, but this flake has been working extremely well for me. And then we got that red pearl on the bottom. That looks really well. You can see here that copper flake just adds a little bit of shine, and then just the random large pieces of black, I think, just kind of add a nice texture to it. And it worked just as good in the larger 4.25 inch size. These turned out fantastic. Again, clean laminates all the way through, all the appendages. Everything worked incredibly well. So let me know what you guys think. You can see here, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is just one of those little weedless EWG Ned heads and that little 3.25 old Buzzard. You can see that fits really, really well on that hook, and that is just a tasty little profile for some smallmouth. Yeah, you can throw it like this. You can throw it on a Texas rig. You can cut it down, jig trailer, like I mentioned with the larger size. You can kind of fish these any way you want. They are incredibly versatile and work extremely well. And there you have it, guys. That is our first look at the new size of this old Buzzard. I couldn't be happier with this mold. It works incredibly well. Even as you saw today, using a powder pigment and a liquid pigment, it still laminates perfect all the way through the bait, even in the appendages. I will leave this mold linked down below. You can either use our affiliate link or our affiliate code at checkout if you want to help the channel. If not, no big deal. That is our first look at this mold. Let me know what you guys think, and as you can see, your comments do matter. So leave a comment down below for either myself or a mold manufacturer, whoever you want, and who knows, maybe one of your suggestions will get brought to reality. But again, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the next one.